They say you can't take it with you, but they never tell you what happens to the things you leave behind. Sold for $12 million, the crowd cheers. A vintage 1960s Ferrari, a masterpiece of steel and speed, has just found a new master. I am standing in the back of the room, or rather my spirit is, watching the vultures pick at the carcass of my life. My watches, my mansions, my private jets, they are all being stripped away, piece by piece, to the highest bidder. It's funny. I spent 40 years of my life, 60 hours a week, and 3 ulcers to buy that car. And today, it took exactly 40 seconds to sell it to a man who didn't even know my middle name. Welcome to the auction of the century. My name is on the building outside, but inside this hall, I'm just a list of items for sale. Everyone is here for my success. Everyone wants a piece of my victory. But stay with me, because very soon, the auctioneer is going to bring out the items I actually paid for with my life. And I promise you, when you see them, you will realize that the richest man in this room might actually be the poorest soul in the universe. Before we move to the next item, if this story is making you rethink your own journey, take a second to hit that subscribe button. Join our community of thinkers. And if you feel the weight of these words, please like the video. It helps this warning reach those who need it most. And now, item number 42, a golden watch. But look closer, because the time it kept was never mine. The auctioneer clears his throat. His white gloves handle a small velvet box, as if it contains the heart of a star. Inside lies a Patek Philippe, rare, flawless. It's a watch that doesn't just tell time, it screams status. The bidding starts at $50,000. Within seconds, it hits $200,000. The wealthy men in the front row lean forward, their eyes hungry. They see a masterpiece of mechanics. But I see a handcuff. I remember the day I bought that watch. It was a gift to myself for closing a deal that wiped out a smaller competitor. I felt like a god, but what I didn't realize was that every time that watch ticked, it was stealing a minute I could have spent watching my daughter's first dance recital. Every time the gold shimmered, it blinded me to the fact that my wife was sitting at a dinner table for 2, staring at an empty chair across from her. I owned time, yet I was its greatest slave. I had 100 watches, but I never had a single minute of peace. The gavel falls again. Bang! Sold to the man in the gray suit. He smiles, putting on his new prize. He thinks he's won. He doesn't know that he just bought a piece of my loneliness. Stop for a moment. Look at your own wrist. Look at your phone. Are you using your time to build a life, or are you just working to buy a more expensive way to watch it slip away? If this is hitting home, leave a comment below. Tell me, what is the one thing you've sacrificed for your career that you wish you could have back? The room is getting warmer now. The crowd is excited. They think the best items are over. They think the luxury cars and the watches were the main event. They have no idea. The auctioneer is about to reach for the items that weren't listed in the catalog. The items that have no market value, but cost me everything. The mood in the room suddenly shifts. The auctioneer stops. He doesn't reach for a painting or a sculpture. He looks at the crowd with a hollow expression, and for a second, the air feels cold, freezing cold. He speaks into the microphone, his voice echoing like a funeral bell. "Ladies and gentlemen," he says, "we have reached the final lot. This is an item that was not in your brochures. It is a rare collection. Something the deceased owner spent 40 years meticulously gathering." He holds up a small, empty-looking glass jar. But inside, if you look closely, there is a thick, heavy gray fog. "Item number 101, he announces. 500 missed family dinners. 500 nights where a seat was empty, the food went cold, and a child's story went unheard because a father was too busy making history." The room goes silent. The billionaire in the front row, who was just laughing, suddenly looks down at his shoes. The auctioneer continues. The bidding starts at 0. Does anyone want to buy the regret of a man who realized too late that a boardroom can never give you a hug? Silence. A deafening, crushing silence. No hands go up. No paddles are raised. The men who fought over my cars now look away in fear. They don't want this. They have their own jars at home, slowly filling up with the same gray fog. It's a strange feeling, watching your life's work being rejected. My millions were worth something, but my sacrifices? They are worthless in the market of souls. Before we continue to the dark twist of this auction, I want to ask you, yes, you watching this right now, is your jar filling up? Are you trading your presence for a paycheck that no one will want to bid on when you're gone? If this realization is shaking you, hit that like button. Let's spread this message before more jars are filled. But wait, the auctioneer isn't done. He has one more item. And this one is the heaviest of them all. The auctioneer puts down the jar of missed dinners. He doesn't even try to sell it. He knows some things are too expensive to be bought, yet too heavy to be kept. He reaches under the podium and pulls out a heavy iron box. It looks ancient, though I only finished forging it a few weeks ago. He opens the lid, and the sound of a cold, whistling wind fills the room. It's the sound of a house where the only conversation is the hum of the refrigerator. Lot 102. The auctioneer's voice is now a whisper. 10 years of total, absolute silence. The silence of a lonely old age. The silence of a mansion with 20 bedrooms, but not a single guest. The silence of a man who realized that his assistants were paid to be his friends, and his lawyers were paid to be his family. He looks at the crowd. Who will bid for this? It's a premium item. It comes with the finest marble floors and the highest quality silk sheets on which you will lie alone, staring at the ceiling, wondering where everyone went. A young entrepreneur in the third row starts to tremble. He looks at his phone, probably at a message from his wife that he hasn't replied to for 3 days. He sees himself in that iron box. He sees his future being auctioned off, and the price is his very soul. The auctioneer looks around. No one? Not even for $1? This is the success you all came here to see. This is the peak of the mountain. Why is no one bidding? The silence in the room is now mirroring the silence in the box. Everyone is realizing the same terrifying truth. We spend our lives working for a someday that turns out to be a lonely day. If you're feeling a chill down your spine, it's because you know this story isn't just about a dead billionaire. It's about the path we are all on. Please subscribe and turn on notifications. We need to keep having these hard conversations because the world won't tell you the truth, only your heart will. And now the final item, the one that will change the way you look at your bank account forever. The auctioneer sets the iron box aside. He looks tired now, as if the weight of my life has aged him in minutes. He reaches for the last item. It's covered in a black cloth. The room is so quiet, you can hear the heartbeat of the person sitting next to you. He pulls the cloth away. It's a mirror, but it's not reflecting the room. It's reflecting a shadow. Final lot, he announces. The soul of a man who won the world but lost himself. A man who became a brand, a CEO, a legend, but forgot how to be a human. Who will bid for this soul? A soul that is pristine, unused, and completely hollow. I look at the mirror from the back of the room. I see the me that lived in the magazines. He looks powerful. He looks rich, but his eyes are like empty rooms in a house no one visits. I realized then that the auction wasn't about my cars or my watches. It was about the fact that I had become an item myself. Suddenly, a voice cracks from the back. I'll give you everything I have to take it back. I scream, but no one hears me. In this room, the dead have no currency. The living only want my assets. No one wants my essence. The auctioneer sighs and puts the cloth back over the mirror. Unsold, he whispers, like the man himself, completely unsavable. Before I reveal the final realization that changed everything, I want you to do one thing. Don't just like this video, share it. Share it with that friend who is working too hard. Share it with that father who hasn't been home for dinner in a week. Be the wake-up call they need before their life becomes a lot number. The lights in the hall begin to dim. The buyers are leaving, clutching their new trophies, my watches, my paintings, my legacy. They walk out into the night, happy with their bargains. But as the room goes dark, I see one person left. It's the janitor. He's an old man, clothes worn, hands calloused from real work. He sits down in my expensive leather office chair, the one that sold for $20,000, and he pulls out a simple plastic container. Inside is a sandwich, a plain, homemade sandwich. His phone rings. It's a video call. I see a little girl on the screen, her face lighting up with $1 million smile. "Papa," she shouts, "when are you coming home? I saved a piece of my birthday cake for you." The janitor smiles, and in that moment, he looks richer than I ever was in 70 years. He has the one thing that wasn't for sale in this room. He has enough. The screen fades to black, but the question remains echoing in the empty hall. When your life is finally put on the auction block, will there be anything left that money can't buy? Or will you just be another collection of expensive things with no one waiting for you at home? Choose your currency wisely, because at the end of the day, the only thing you truly own is the love you gave away.